I have been waiting for this movie for months now, so you best believe I was watching it as soon as I could. The Boy and the Heron is Studio Ghibli's newest film that explores Mahito's story. A young boy who struggles with the loss of his mother due to war, explores his dealing with that, and discovers a heron that tempts him with the idea of his mother being alive. This is one of the darker movies I have seen of Studio Ghibli, but has a lot of light and funny moments that makes the story all around. This was an absolutely stunning movie to see in theaters, so let's go over it. And no spoilers, of course. Before we continue, if you're new here, I create banging videos on anime from recommendations, breakdowns, and relating anime to real life. We do it all here. Alright, let's get back into it. If you have never seen a Studio Ghibli movie before, then you should know there are some huge differences between these animated stories and the ones we have in the Western culture or in the United States. These stories are way more mature and abstract in a way that lets adults appreciate them more, but kids can still watch and laugh at. There are themes that can be relatable to adults, but can be hard to grasp at times. Because I said it's abstract, the viewer is sometimes meant to create their own meaning of the story and not being told point blank like other movies. These movies don't hold your hand at all, and that's why I love them. Sometimes you may have to watch it a couple times to really understand it. This is why I love these movies, due to the complexity but also simpleness of the story, the beautiful animation, the laughter it can bring, and the beautiful music. I will only discuss the main preface of the story for no spoilers. This main story is inspired by the life of Hayao Miyazaki, who's been directing Studio Ghibli films for a long while. This story follows a young boy named Mahito, who lives during a time of war in his country. The war ends up taking his mother's life, which causes him and his father to leave the country. His father gets together with his mother's sister, and soon learns he is going to have a baby brother or sister. This is actually a normal practice in the Japanese culture, where if your loved one died, you would stay with the family to continue that lineage moving forward. They leave together and end up staying in this huge house that has 7 maids who are really funny and have a large amount of land. This land has buildings everywhere and a local gray heron that welcomes Mahito a little too much. Mahito explores his new home, his new school, but all while struggling with the loss of his mother. We discover that there is something more to the heron and states to Mahito that his mom is still alive. The heron brings Mahito into a new world and they explore it while trying to find the meaning of him being there and trying to save his new mother or his father's new love. The heron ends up being the mentor of Mahito, and they have a really funny relationship because the heron's either mean to him or he's wise. It's a funny dynamic that these two characters have. The story shows Mahito dealing with the loss of his mother. He has dreams of her, injures himself, and gets bullied in school. It explores a dark point in Mahito's life in dealing with the loss of a loved one. We see that the world Mahito lives in, and us too, is a malice place at times, and we're just meant to deal with these horrible things. Mahito slowly grows into a young boy who confronts the heron head on and will venture into any world to save his new mother and his father's love. Mahito shows that loving your friends and family and appreciating them in the present time is so important. You will never know what will happen tomorrow or the next day, so live the best you can. That's all I will say for this, because I don't want to spoil anything, honestly. Maybe I'll make videos in the future with spoilers, but I left out a lot of stuff. If you wish to discuss stuff in the comments down below, go ahead and do so. I'm glad to engage in that, but with a warning, of course. I've mainly watched the Studio Ghibli movies in dub, and I've actually enjoyed them a lot. Now, I know there's a huge debate between sub and dub in the anime community, but honestly, I don't really give a crap. Kinda. It really just depends if either or does a good job at the voice acting. If the sub sounds good, I'll watch it. If the dub sounds good, I'll watch it. And usually the dub in Studio Ghibli movies is actually really good, and this movie showed that. The voice acting cast for this film is absolutely stacked, and honestly, I couldn't believe the amount of talent here. Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson, Mark Hamill, William Dafoe, Batista, Florence Pugh, and Karen Fukuhara. I applaud these actors because the voice acting was great. Robert Pattinson and Luca were huge standouts, and I really enjoyed them. Luca, who plays Mahito, really doesn't talk that much in the story compared to other protagonists in the Studio Ghibli films, but I still enjoyed his performance. Robert Pattinson really wowed me in this because the voice of the heron does not have a single hint of his voice in it. It is crazy. Everybody did a splendid job on the voice acting. Studio Ghibli never fails to deliver on the visuals, and that was the same for this movie. The visuals were just jaw-dropping and fantastic. There were a lot of shots in the beginning of the story that I had never seen before in a Studio Ghibli movie. There were POV shots of Mahito running up the stairs to watch what was happening outside. There was one specific shot of Mahito running through fire, which looked intense. A wave of fire, civilians in distraught in the background, dark and gloomy houses in the back, and Mahito in distress all in one shot. It was just outstanding, capturing the story. This was all hand drawn, by the way. Most Western films are made with CGI and computer stuff, so just better, honestly, just better. The sound in this movie was absolutely beautiful, like all the other ones. The moments of Mahito alone dealing with the death of his mother, and the music coming in just to make you feel what he's feeling. When something intense is going to happen or happening, the music conveys the tension and atmosphere of the moment. It is just beautiful. But this movie also involves a lot of silent times, which we hardly see in movies or shows at all. We're always filled with sound in media like music, the atmospheric sound, dialogue, and sound effects. But this movie is not afraid to be absolutely quiet at times. It is as if the movie really wants you to feel the movie and just experience it without the non-stop sound and action that we're constantly fed with. Now, let's talk about the bad parts of this movie, which was the pacing for most people. A lot of people mentioned the pacing of this movie was really slow at times in the beginning, then fast towards the end. I can totally see these critiques. Honestly, I enjoyed the slow pacing in the beginning. It built out the world and let us sit with the cast of characters more. I feel like the beginning of the movie is just more sitting and experiencing rather than the viewer having to hear pointless things that other movies try and shove to your face, and it's just pointless stuff in the end of the day. It just really feels like this movie is a sit and experience and just indulge into the world that Miyazaki has created for you. And it is just beautiful. To wrap all the elements, themes, and symbolism in this movie, it would just be impossible to do in a 10-minute video. But I just really wanted to talk about this movie right away. It is definitely in my top 3 movies I've seen this year, and I created this to encourage you to watch it. Mahito's character development, his relationship with the heron, the dark tones and the light tones in this movie fit so well together. It just shows the good and the bad things in life, that there is both and there is never ever going to be only one side to living in this life. There are actually some connections that people have made online with Miyazaki being the boy and the old great uncle, which you can really see if you really think about it. But the animation, music, and messages you can create from this story are just limitless and amazing. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Comment down below if you have seen this movie and your thoughts on it. If not, go watch it. What are you doing? And yeah, guys, I'll see you on the next one. If you like the video, subscribe for weekly videos. I will see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody, and peace.